You see my screen? See you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Shall we start? Arshi, is it? Arshi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Arshi is here.
No.
Ma'am, I have called Sudarshan and Veekshit and they are about to join. They will be joining.
Okay, there are many weak shape.
Yes, Naveen Mattam.
Yes, Naveen, I think, send a message. He's not there. Okay, so let's begin. Sandeep Vijayaraghavan also will be joining. He has some, he just landed from Delhi. So he'll be joining in another 10 minutes. So good morning, good afternoon. Can some of you come on video mode or no?
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. So two things that we would discuss. Most of the time, what we feel is that your batch has missed a lot of critical conversations around capstone projects. And a few of you haven't kind of completed a few things. So that is why, as we have mentioned, one of the module we will be moving later, which is on cyber range, because cyber range encompasses whatever that you learned so far. It is exactly simulating an organizational enterprise on a virtual level and creating more of gamified console on blue teaming, green teaming exercises. So, and that is also a very, we have to build the labs. So there is so much of work around it, and ideally it is good to have 20, 25 people so that the real understanding of the game comes in. Otherwise, it's not going to work well. So that is why we might move it little later. But immediately what we would do is, so that you don't lose the time. All of you, if you remember, you have joined the program on March 21, 2021. So right now you are about 14 months into the program, right? 14 months. Hope you have learned. Okay. So you are still a little more longer way to go. About 4 to 5 months is what you must have sessions as part of the second year program. Whether you are MTech, MSc, the only difference is that the subjects would remain the same. Number of credits assigned to certain subjects would be little more for an MSc program because you have to get about, I think CS06 batch, we have still the old scheme going on. So more or less it is 94 credits that both of you must get. So today we will discuss on the what is that elephant in the room, which is capstone projects, which I'm sure most of you are fretting about, and some discussions we had with multiple people. I think except say Aman, um, Ranajit. Ranajit is not there in this session. I understand. Maybe one more person. Sudarshan has sent the abstract. Most of you are still figuring out what is this capstone project is, and capstone project, as we were saying, that it can enhance your resume almost 100% better if you do it well. Otherwise it can be a breaker for your stand in the way of your MTech or MS degree. So typically university convocations happens once in a year, which is in September. So that means we are just planning your schedule that if you complete another 5 months by December, Jan, you must complete your all the sessions, all the modules parallelly. Please note, parallelly you must work on Capstone. So it is not that you will have separate time for Capstone. So right now, because you will have some time, today we would want you to do a boot camp and complete your topic identification. So we will literally take you through building that framework of writing the abstract. How do you write? How do you finalize? Because there are so many topics in your mind and you are most of the time maybe not sure which one I should pick. Because the moment you decide that, that is going to be your capstone projects for rest of your life. So you can't drop that in between. That is why planning is so critical that let's choose the capstone titles very, very carefully. Write the conceptual clarity, conceptual map around how to deliver that capstone project by end of this discussion today. That's one agenda. Second agenda is that what are the electives available? How do you choose the electives? Since the class strength is smaller, we will not be able to accommodate everyone's interest and priorities. Instead, as a class, we would say that choose the best four and we will give that best four. If we find that there is a lot of diversity, we would count and pick the top elected electives. So that is the process that we would follow. Okay, so these are the two agenda. Anything else that you want to ask or you want to add? So one is the outcome of these two agenda is that one is that we will build your capstone abstract. Even if it is taking say 1 hour, 2 hours, we'll be here to ensure that your abstract is captured today. Not tomorrow, not I'll come back, but today we will capture. And then we will work towards. We are talking about Capstone 1. And we always say that Capstone 1 can be extended to Capstone 2. So if you think that I am finalizing my future career in incident management and response, then you would take that as the area of interest. Or somebody says that I am very much interested in, say, pen testing or application security, then you would focus on that area. So I'm sure at the end of 1 year, you have that clarity where you want to go, at least on the technical side. Techno-functional, if you want to lead the team, then you must get onto more of frameworks, compliance, policy making, all that areas. That option is also there. So based on individual interest, we would want to pick a topic and then work around it. Okay, so Capstone we'll take up once Sandeep comes because we want to align your academic interest with the industry interest. Because at the end of it, you have to face the Viva, and the Viva panelists are going to be CISOs or VPs. You have to answer them what novelty that you brought in. So first part, we will take now electives. As I mentioned, after this discussion, you can ask questions what has been covered. We are going to give a scope of each of the modules, right? So we have 4 electives, which is typically 4 credits each. That means a month-long module. Immediately after that exam, that's the process. And you have to do one capstone project. In fact, this is I had it's not one, actually 1 and 2, right? There are 2 projects that you must do. So 8 to 12 credits depending on which program you are doing. If it is MS, then there will be the number of credits would be different. So 2 capstone projects that you have to focus on, and 1 publication. This also can put people into frenzied mode. What is this publication, right? But as you are aware, oh, my screen is not moving. As you are aware, you are doing a master's program. Master's program, it is compulsory today by master's students to actually do publication. And we also want your project to be shown to the public, right? This is kind of frozen, doesn't matter, I think. This goes up, that's okay, but I'm not able to put on slide now. It is being shown, right? And it's not picking. It's okay. That's okay. You can see the screen anyway, right?
I'm stuck. Think.
Okay, let me cut
Yes.
this.
Yes.
1 second, just cut this. Pardon? Sorry, I went out of the meeting. Okay. Okay, sure. Let me take this. Sorry. Can see?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so these are the electives we are offering. We typically keep one module, one elective, keeping the changing trends in the market. So based on our discussions, based on the number of the companies who are actually looking for our placements and all that, we decide the topics. So first one is, it's not first or any order, we would pick and choose. One is security engineering. This will be dealt by one of the AppSec head, Dr. Somya from Dell. And you are aware that a lot of issues of vulnerabilities happens because of software engineers who are not being exposed to security concepts. So this module would help you to work with software security, AppSec developers to work on how to design from left. That means your code reviews, your understanding on, especially on the security, when you are creating an application security framework or architecture itself, how do you build your security, especially with the help of other stakeholders. So that is the module here. You can check the details as you can see here. We found that this module, the difficulty would be that it requires some scripting knowledge. If you don't have that, we may find it difficult. But we have got excellent feedback on this module, and we would like to retain this module because it's very useful. Just because it is tough doesn't mean that you should not take. So this is one of the module. This is especially useful for people who are moving up, and everybody is moving up. Nobody is going to stay where you are, right? So you must definitely know what are the important frameworks or the compliances or the risk frameworks that you must design, you must write. Not that when somebody gives you these policies and you will just follow. But based on your organizational context and the clients that you have across continents, you must know how to comply, how to write your own policies. So one of the consulting projects we worked with was multi-continent projects, definitely with different laws. especially in India, the privacy law as well as GDPR or some of the healthcare compliances, new NIST frameworks, new ISO frameworks, all that would be discussed here. And Dr. Ram Kumar, you haven't met him, but you know that he's the one who is helping you every day morning with good snippets of wisdom. You have Dr. Ram, right? Yes. So
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am.
Ram will be handling this session. Those who and very, very critical. Sometimes I feel that electives should not be given. These should be like mandatory courses. So this is also highly useful, and we would look at scenario wise. So suppose you have to customize certain frameworks for your companies. How do you do that? So he would at least take about 10 to 12 different frameworks and compliances and risk assessment frameworks, which will be discussed in this module. Very useful, especially for people who are moving up the ladder, not the persons who are software engineers and do not want to think the compliance part of it. So it is make or break for organizations because you will be penalized also for non-compliant. Uh, Another very important, it's actually connected to the GRC module, is the law part of it. We have seen after Advocate Sushant Samudrala, who is taking this session, he's called as a cyber law expert in emerging technologies. So he deals with even government policy frameworks, especially the law part of it, when say any of the new technologies is coming. So he's an advisor to governments. He runs a very successful startup. And so most of the modules are also linked very closely with the mentors, as you are aware, right? So we are trying to give you the best in the country so that you learn the best. So if you see here, it's about, suppose you have studied, I'm sure you have studied forensics, Dr. Paras, right? Okay, so if you have done the collection of evidence, etc., then how do you actually present and win the case in court of law? So this is very interesting, very scenario based, very mind opening, because you may not know as part of legal frameworks what are you complying. So this is an interesting course that you can look at. This security in cloud real production system. It's a continuation of your cloud security modules. If you have to build an entire company on cloud with security front, how do you do? And how do you, especially if you are running very critical data related products and applications, how do you build successful security applications in cloud in real? So that means we'll use Azure, we will use multiple systems in building this. And Dhruv is the one who is going to take this. Again, very interesting, very useful. So we can't say which one is better, which one is good. So you will have this one of the module. This is second part of it that we would, this is an option that we would connect it with CHFI, which is the EC Council track certification. If you choose this, you have to complete and get the certification exam from CHFI. So it is, you have already been exposed to see the forensics, but here it would be more of CHFI related. That means the whole course will be dealt towards this certification. Right. So you'll have a global certification as well in the hand. Application security, we will bring one of our own participants. So this is also a good opportunity for you to teach back if you think that somebody is extremely good. We will identify. So Satish is AppSec security head of TCS. He would be handling. And this is mainly for application security developers. How do you build secured applications? So it's from web application. You have done your OWASP, you have done your web application and security. So it will continue from there, right? And then this is Dr. Sima, security analytics part 2. What you have done with Pradipta is basic use cases. Here you will live build some of the use cases with our SOC traffic and build and automate using machine learning, using AI techniques, both the traffic or logs, but also user behavior data. Because user behavior data, again, requires an internal understanding of how users are misusing the rights, right? So I think, yeah, this is a new module, which is completely, hi Sudhir, you are not part of this,
Okay.
you have to be there, that's it. Okay. This is a new elective we haven't offered yet. This is the first time we are offering. As I mentioned that we will keep one module open as per the industry demands. So somebody wants to get on to IDAM, lot of opportunities, but it may not be useful for mid and senior career moment, but good skill to have. IDAM as it's increasing in breadth and depth. That's what, because earlier when we started it was not very prominent. Now, how to give the right privileges, right to the connecting B2B, B2C environment, converting, I mean, making sure that no privilege escalations, identity and access is managed well using the right tool. So we will use Okta or Azure for this module. This is we ourselves, for us this is new module, but this is also been offered as an elective. So that's the list of electives. Now you know how to choose. Any questions or any feedback on the electives? Some are part 2. Say CHFI is part 2. Security analytics is part 2. So if I'm just taking this view, one second. Yeah. If I'm say taking this view, you know security engineering. In terms of say production environment, this one real production system, more on cloud. Taking this view. So you know that these are the electives. It's already, the survey link has been put to you for you to pick the course. Digital forensics and security analytics, you have already been exposed to. IDAM is new. Cyber law and GRC are connected. Both are important. It is not that it's a continuation. These are separately to be handled. You can practice cyber law. In fact, one of our participants, after attending this, he left everything and now he's actually getting onto this area. So people change, right? That is why education should teach you. You can be transitioned. You can get a different perspectives and clarity in life. The other one is yeah, security engineering, especially for people, but very, very useful topic. So encryption, cryptography, related areas, your more code reviews, all that would be dealt in security engineering. Any first preference, second preference? Any questions? People are there online.
Yeah, we are there.
Okay.
Ashini ma'am, just one question. Like right now, we have submitted the survey, so can we resubmit it?
Yes, yes. Let's see. What are you changing your mind?
Actually, this was
Uh,
same thing going through my mind as well, because this table of content should have been shared before. You could have made more wise choices, right?
Okay. Yeah. Always ask questions, no? In fact, don't take whatever is been given.
Yeah, but
Always
that
ask more.
that's right.
survey was bit early.
Okay. Okay. Sure. So we will. You can ask Dilsey to for a second submission. Second submission is allowed.
Okay. Yeah, same.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. But any feedback on electives? Good, bad, ugly?
Just one question regarding the cyber law, ma'am. So I remember because I have studied cyber law back in the year 2014 or 13. So there are around 75 A's and B's laws. So everything will be included, or there are more included in this time frame.
So 4 days, you should be able to actually write the report, collect the evidence, present the artifacts in case court of law. But you will also discuss uh, multiple laws, right? Especially, I think privacy law is still under table, But there are sometimes when I listen to cyber laws class, even the basic say Information Technology Act, it has already been written. What are the laws that it would be covered? But because he is practicing, right? He's practicing. He would help you to understand what are the most critical problems that the companies are giving him as a case, and how all these no the laws which are passed, or what kind of court cases are winning, and what kind of cases are run. All that from his real practical experience.
Yes, ma'am. Because
Yes.
the reason I asked, I think I was in touch with this person from Asian School of Cyber Laws who is in Pune. I
Mhm.
worked under him, and we have gone through all the cyber law. He was the part of the board when they were discussing about the laws, and few of the laws which was actually introduced by him. So I have actually gone through all the 75 laws, A's and B's, and what other punishable acts are there, and for how many years you will be in jail, and all that stuff was included in his book which he has written. Rahul,
Mhm.
I think Nagpal,
Okay.
Rohit or
Yeah.
Rahul Nagpal is there from Asian here. So I'm just expecting, like, if we are going through the cyber laws, so yes, in terms of IT organization, how these acts will help us, and how we can show us knowledge when we are talking, or when we are taking a case to a court, and how we can help the organization in that sense. So I'm just expecting, like, the mentor can also give us insights in all these 75 laws, and how it will help us in future,
Yeah. I'm
even if we
I'm
are not
just
moving towards the law side.
Yeah, I'm just opening like cybersecurity secondary electives. I'm just opening the MTech 4 and 5 batch, and I'll share the lesson plan.
Also, ma'am, can this PPT be shared, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, definitely. So if you see here, IT Act 2000 in length, uh, what is considered a cybercrime, and what kind of cyber crimes, digital crimes, etc. And again, more on connecting with the act, as well as collecting. This part is on digital evidence collections, and how to write the, because there is also certifications, collections, etc., artifacts collections. And then how the privacy policy is also, Dr. Ram also would talk about it, but this is going to change a lot of ways that companies are currently doing business. So it's all with practical workshops, and very, so this is the typical course coverage that he has done last time, but every year there is improvement. You can see this.
Okay, because I can say this syllabus will not be covering each and every law in cybersecurity, I believe. Like, most important, which are being
Yes,
used
yes,
in
yes,
IT organization,
yes,
which I'm seeing here.
absolutely. So then otherwise, because the cyber law practices, and it's an open book exam. So which act, which section, all that, we don't expect you to remember by heart. Typically, cyber law is very
Yes.
extensive memory you need. So it will be all open book, and there'll be a lot of help around getting the sections done. Come, Sandeep. Sandeep is actually not well, but I dragged him. Sorry.
You started? Sorry.
Yes. So we are discussing about the electives. Yeah. Well, we are not going into the project, so you came at the right time. Okay. So please be seated. Okay. Any other questions on anything else?
Ma'am, the second module which I have seen, like, cyber digital forensics. So in that, are we going to cover endpoint forensics, network forensics, and cloud forensics? Because these are the
So,
main three things which we'll be seeing in the IT organization these days.
so see, if you look at CHFI document, right? I would just open, because that exactly is what would be covered, right? Uh, you can check that. So we'll follow that.
Okay. I think that is
Yeah.
because I have gone through the syllabus of CHFI. It is more into high level, like an introduction.
No, no,
But I
this is
don't think that.
practical. It has been changed. One second.
I think like 2 years back or 1 year back, I have gone through their syllabus. They were more talking about in journal forensics, like evidences, how you, uh, you know, uh, image your evidence. But I'm actually expecting if there would be more, like if we are talking about processes and the lateral movements, persistence, how we can do the forensics of those, how we can extract these processes from different locations in the Windows machine or Mac machine or Linux machine. These are I'm talking about the endpoint.
I'm hoping that Paris has covered that, right? Paris has not covered? Okay.
No, I don't think so, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a typical CHFI version 9. I am not sure which version is the latest, that we will be following that latest. So, and the questions, because some of our other batches participants have written, the questions are scenario based MCQ questions, which needs you to have a good understanding on the labs. So CHFI labs will be set up by PC Council. And if you see the process, you can see here, right? So malware, I mean, did you ask network forensics? It is covered in the sense that it is all lab based. It's not some theory. It is so all these things are there already. But we will align it to CHFI because we want people to get that certification. We may teach something else, but at the end of it, you must get. And in fact, some of our very good participants were not able to clear. So please take that in mind, that it's not an easy exam to clear.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Latest CHFI, maybe we can just check with Ishan what is the latest CHFI's PDF, and we can share with you.
So, ma'am, as a part of this module, we need to clear this exam also.
Yes. So the final exam will not be ours. Final exam will be EC Council's proctored, campus proctored, safe browser based exam. Means you will not be allowed to open any other browser other than your exam browser. But you will get.
So we are not paying extra, right, ma'am? We are not paying extra for this certification.
If you attend from the campus, if you follow our timeline, everything is included. If you start asking for special privileges, then we will just start asking extra. Just follow us, then nothing, no extra money will be charged.
Okay.
Okay, so that is about, so you have good understanding. I will put this presentation in the LMS after this, okay? So now so next session is boot camp. Boot camp means what? You should get the outcome of Capstone project done. Submit the abstract, end of these 2 sessions. How do we do that? We will do a hands-on exercise. The first thing what you need is the Capstone abstract template. Do everyone has access to that? If not, Rashmi or somebody can share that abstract template. In the meantime, I will go and check my shared folder. May not work. One second. It is in the LMS. So people who have already been access to, please raise your hands. And those who have already done it, you can always present yours so that everyone will get a good understanding on what kind of details are going on. 1 second, just give me. Okay. So it's a very simple looking format, but it looks like it is very difficult to fill up. Okay. Okay. Now, how do you choose a topic? Let me open some of the presentations deck as well. 1 second. And just give me a, you can speak in the meantime. Aman, you have presented already, so you can talk about it. What was your experience has been? Aman, Ranajit, and
Sure.
Sudarshan, right? 3 of you have submitted.
Ma'am, I've submitted the proposal.
Who is this?
Yeah, Sudarshan.
Sudarshan. Yes. Yeah, we'll share. I'll open that as well. Let me just take 1 second. Aman, you want to talk about how did you choose a topic?
Sure, ma'am, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've actually choose a topic which is automated software, which is going to detect and disinfect ransomwares, any variant of ransomware. So if you ask me like from where I got this idea,
Can
that
you
is because
open
of my
you open your presentation, because you have done such a beautiful work. We were so impressed.
so sorry, but actually I'm on my phone. I was out and I am joining.
Okay, I think we
my
have
phone.
we have your presentation. Just give me a minute. I'll put it. Can you just
Yes, sure.
check and see? 1 second. What we have is only your presentation. I mean your report.
Yeah, actually I
present.
have not shared the PPT yet because there need to be some changes need to be done. So I don't think that I
Okay.
have shared. I think I shared it with Rashmi. I don't
Okay.
remember, but
Please share always with program office so that all of us
sure,
will
ma'am.
have.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are you also aware that we have been doing Wednesday support sessions on how to how to choose your projects? Are you aware? How many of you are attending? Now somebody will say, "Oh, I have that calls at that time only." Okay.
I have attended few of them.
Okay.
Even
I've
I have
attended few.
attended. Yeah, few of them.
Okay. So that means you will have some understanding. Is my screen visible? Okay, great. Okay. So this is a very simple looking. Let me just take the project. I have Aman Deeps, but I want to show the presentation. If you share that presentation, we will show, right? Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
So
Yeah.
so what is the, where do you start? Where do you start? Where do you start about projects? I mean, what is the first point of thinking? You have been thinking, no? Or you have been attending modules, writing that exam, nothing else. You're thinking about your career transitions, some major transformation in your hike in packages. Are you thinking? No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody
But
is thinking how to get more money. Okay.
By developing a skill.
Huh?
By developing a skill.
Okay. By developing a specific skill or maybe multiple skills, or becoming more technical functional expertise, managing team, leading team, making more money for organizations. If organization makes more money because of you, you will become rich, right?
Update the knowledge as per
Not
the
always.
latest trends.
It is not always. Then you can shift that organization. If organization is making money and you are not making money. Yeah. What is that, Aman?
No, Arvind, ma'am. Arvind, update the knowledge as per the latest trends.
Okay, okay. Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he is only sharing with Dr. Rashmi. So, yeah. In fact, we were discussing about your innovation as well, because you put some nice. Okay, I have to download this. Just give me a minute. Okay. Yeah, Aman. We may not have so much time, but I just want you to give a gist of what you have done. This is this is the one, no? But I saw a better presentation. Is it the latest? Okay, fine. So he abbreviated as guardian of data becomes God, and the God has become, what is it? Something else you used, which was very nice to hear. God software working. There is one Netflix serial also. Okay, but I saw something which is okay. Yeah. So Aman, over to you.
Yes, ma'am.
This is your
So
scope of work,
yeah,
right?
so I was
You can
talking.
discuss this. Yeah.
Yes.
Just give me
So
some time.
actually, this idea came through my experience because I'm coming from a background where I have done few investigations. I'm NC certified, NK certification, where when you do a case, it might go to court. So that's why I have actually gone through the cyber laws as well. And the investigation on endpoint security, or like endpoints, I have done most of the investigation till now. Not much on network forensics. So while working on endpoint, that was there always in my mind whenever I have worked for a ransomware attacks, because ransomware is something which comes, the variants are different. You have to always depend on the signatures, and that's when I thought, why shouldn't we come up with a idea where we should not be depending on the signature, rather let's depend on the behavior. That's what we are doing these days when it comes to any malware or threat hunt when we do. So I have actually gone through the Petya ransomware, which came back in the year 2016. I have seen the working, because that was a very deadliest one, which was including encryption of the files in the machine, as well as corrupting the MBR sector. MBR sector is somewhere which will actually corrupt your operating system, and your operating system will not run. And basically, the ransomware message will be deflected in place of the operating system getting boot. So I have gone through that process. I learned, like, okay, these things, what ransomware does. And if you see it here in the scope of work, I have given a ransomware attack with my software, which I'm going to develop, and without the software, if there is a normal machine without my software. So extreme towards the left, the flowchart which you see, it shows you that once the Petya ransomware infected in the machine, your files will be encrypted, the MBR sector will be corrupted, and at the end your machine will be restarted, and then you will be getting a ransom message on the screen. So this is what a normal thing which we seen with any ransomware. And now the second last left, the flowchart, when you see with my software, what it does is, if the software is installed, it will be generating few demo files, which I have named it according to the file listing of any computer or any folder. So those dummy file will be placed from top to bottom, like on the top, in the middle, and at the bottom of any folder. That the reason behind this, if you ask me, like, if the ransomware can come and encrypt from the middle or in between the middle and the top, that won't happen, because any ransomware, if they are coming with an intention to encrypt a file or a specific extension, they have to run through a process which will be file listing. So they do the file listing, they search for the extension, and then they encrypt. So that is the idea behind it. When it will be doing the file listing, my dummy files will be placed in all the important folders, and in the top, middle, and bottom, these dummy files will be placed. So once these files are placed, there are few sysinternal tools which I have used, which will be monitoring these dummy files. And whenever the entropy is getting changed of these particular dummy files, it will be generating an alert. So this generating of an alert is a detection. So that will be my Capstone 1 project, which will be detecting a ransomware attack. So now from here, I will be converting it into forensics, where I will be using different sysinternal tools. Those what they will does is they will actually will uh, take all those processes running by that particular ransomware and put it in a quarantine folder. So once that is placed in the quarantine folder, it will do the further cleanup of the machine. And once the cleanup machine is done, your machine will be ready. So the ultimate goal is to set your machine within 30 seconds, like very clean from the ransomware, so that you can use it. So this flowchart which I have created, you can see the name which I have given to this software is God Software, the guardian of the data. I got this name from Guardian of the Galaxy, the movie. So I thought, why not to give this name, because this ultimately is, being a guardian of the data which is there on the machine. So the working, if you go to the next slide, I have given in a very specific.
This one,
I
right?
think this is not the updated one.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. This is not the updated one, I believe.
Yes, yes. So how exactly God
So I've
software
actually
working?
given. Yeah.
So, and it is
That's
only
right. Yeah.
covering ransomware, Patia ransomware, right? Is it covering currently only one
No,
signature?
no. So Patia ransomware is just an example to showcase, but ultimately, when the software is ready, you can run any ransomware on this software. It will be covering all the ransomwares in the market.
Okay.
Because
what are the
we are
challenges
not
that you
behind the
would
signatures.
face? Yeah. What are the challenges you
While
face?
doing, yeah. While doing, I have not faced much challenges while having this idea in the mind, but the challenges which I'm going to face is with the coding, because the coding will be more into kernel level, where I have to understand the MBR sector and how, because I'm not from a background of coding, so I have to understand the API calls and how I can, uh, extract the information from kernel, the MBR sector, and how that can be sent to the quarantine folder. I need to understand basic the coding of this particular steps. So until here, while creating, yes, there was a lot of changes I have made, because it was very difficult to identify the MBR, corruption, like how it does the MBR corruption, and how you can actually be saved from MBR corruption. So I have done a lot of research where I identified one driver, which was actually, there is only one driver till date which I have seen, which was actually developed by the Cisco Teles team. They have this MBR filter.inf. This is a particular driver which they have developed, and if you install this particular driver on your machine, it will protect your this MBR sector, and no ransomware can actually uh, do do the corruption on the MBR sector. So this particular driver I will be including in the package. So from here, the challenge would be creating the packages and how to create a bundle. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Your mentor is allotted, huh?
I'm
Mentor?
currently working with Dr. Rashmi. Yeah.
Okay. But your mentor from industry
And
mentor is not
will
allotted.
be
Okay.
no. I'm actually planning to connect with Dhruv.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I think we have to allocate. We will do that. Okay. Sandeep, you want to? I think this has been approved. Yeah. Okay. This has been approved. So, so I think it's a great work. We can see a lot of thinking is gone through and a lot of reading has been gone. So for others who are still figuring out, where do we kind of start, right? Where do we kind of this is the expectation. You need to have a one pager. At least you must, and we keep saying, how do you get to project ideas? 3-4 areas, right? You talk to your people around. They would say, I'm looking for a solution here. Or you may talk to the mentors, or in the class itself, some discussions would have happened. And or you connect with us for any of the projects which we are doing as part of it. In fact, there is a beautiful project Sandeep is bringing us now on telecom fraud, etc. Right? So we have a lot of security analytics projects which are happening from the university side for clients. We are not doing academic projects, but developing patterns, recognitions, anything on security analytics. If anyone is interested, can connect with us. So how do you get that topic? Can all of you also look at what is your long-term career plan? How do you want your resume to change? Which area that you want to project, position? That clarity now you have. You may not have all clarity in life. You must know how to work with ambiguity, right? So can I hear from each of you that what is the broader area that you want to get in? Cybersecurity is so broad. But which module, which area interested you? Out of that 10 plus modules, if I have to pick one area, which you think there is a lot of scope and I will do exceedingly well because I know 30% of it, or I know 50% of it. But there are modules I think I may not do well. So something you have to reflect on yourself. Can we hear? Endpoint detection, Mohammed Arshi has chosen that area, but others?
Ma'am, I have chosen for the CTI automation.
CTI automation. Okay. So, okay, I'm just, yeah. So, one of the things I think Rajiv, when I was discussing that, what projects are allowed here? How do you get fit into our scheme of things? And what is our scheme of things, right? So, Sandeep, you are, okay. So he says that there are CTI tools, and if I create a better automation process and create the SOPs on making it faster, efficient, will that be considered, right? There is no yes or no to this question, but from our understanding, that if somebody wants to do a process change, a business process change or automation or anything of that sort, it has to be tested in real setting. There must be empirical evidence that your process works. Empirical evidence means you can't just conceptually preach here in the thing that I have now created a framework and this is mine. Who said? You have to validate with an outside world. So if you have to create a primary research in the sense that you have test users who have used it and have given you higher rating compared to an existing system, that can be considered mostly under the MS part of the project. But in MTech, we would request you to look at more of a technical idea to be implemented, like what Arshi is doing, that you are building software or at least part of it, not the entire thing, part of it, right? So there is, if somebody wants to say, I was discussing again with somebody is completely from a risk and assessments compliance process. How do you now look at bringing the technical part of it? It may not be necessary all the time, but you will be facing an industry viva panel who are experts already in these systems, and you have to face them. You have to get the marks. It's 100 marks. You have to face them. We don't have, if they say that this project is brilliant and you got 100 marks, we will not come on. But yeah, so if it is a very process oriented one, then you need to create a framework or a policy or some kind of processes, and you need to get being tested. So some of them who are saying that, okay, I would create a risk assessment tool for hospitals or hotels, then they must actually go and do that there, right? Set it up there and get somebody signing off saying that this is being done better than the existing system. So there must be some novelty, some innovation. It need not be patent, moving to a patent kind of a work. If you can do something like that, like say Mohammed Ashi's Goat software can be patented, nothing like that. We will help you there. then it will be easier for you to publish as well, because publication is connected to this. Whatever you do, if you make it as a conceptual paper, then it will go as a white paper. You know how a white paper is that you are collecting from somewhere, some survey you have done, some understanding, some talks you have talked to some of the experts, and developing it as a, a paper which is like an industry, industry benchmark paper. This might not get published in a journal. Journals requires evidence and innovations, etc., which has to be fitting to that journal's objectives. So each journal comes with different things. More you publish in a better and better journals. Journals in this world is divided into quartiles of based on how much these journals have been cited by others. Articles have been cited by others. So if you have attended the Wednesday support sessions, you know that there are thousands, lakhs of journals in this world, academic journals, and don't underestimate academic journals. Academic journals are the beginning of whatever you see today. It could be developed by an MIT set of cybersecurity engineers, or it could be developed from some of the universities. So somewhere universities have a large role to play, whatever practices that you practice in industry. So don't underestimate academic projects. And if you think that I know better, then we want to see what is that you know. Now somebody says that I didn't see any paper around it. That might be because we have not looked enough. Papers are there. How to find out the right papers, the seminal paper or a base paper or a mother paper, whatever you call. This is the paper that on which I want to improve. All these things are critical thinking for master's program. So we are not going to dilute that part of it. You must definitely understand white papers. White papers are more of industry implementation. How this has been implemented, what are the best practices, problems. They would have put it as in some websites, say Deloitte or say Gartner, securities, multiple white papers they keep publishing. But that is industry practices. But here we are looking at technical innovations or process innovations. So you need to bring that aspect of it. So please go through some of the white papers, plus you must go through some of the papers. Where do you find papers? Some 3-4 options that which we always give is IEEE. All of you have access to IEEE. If not, please do that now. So I want you to do a hands-on. Don't listen to this because I'm not. We are. So you have this details being given. If you don't know, then go to your LMS. Right? Go to your LMS. This is must. Please open your LMS. I may ask for sharing the screen. Don't keep listening to me. Right? You have. You can search for IEEE. There is an SOP document being shared. Right? How many of you have used that access? This all comes with the cost, please note. Yeah, it's not free. The university is giving you IEEE access, it's not free. It's cost. You got this document? Okay, so log into IEEE Explorer, use the institutional sign-in, and then this is your username and password. Everyone, please raise your hand. You can ask. Raise your hand.
No, I didn't get. Portal is crashing.
Pardon?
We need to search the IEEE, right? And the,
Yes. Okay.
it's crashing actually.
Okay.
After searching
Is
portal.
it? Okay. So I'm just putting under downloads and putting here in the chat. You are able to get now? Okay, everyone got it now? Go to IEEE Explore. I have to come back again. I think I have already signed in. So you have to use institutional sign-in. Use the login and password. So keep IEEE Explore as a reference. Another one is Google Scholar as a different reference.
Did you send it the document in chat?
Pardon? Yeah, it's in the chat. Everybody got it, right?
No, we haven't received
No,
it.
no, we haven't received it.
I can see it is gone. Can you see the chat?
Yeah, now it's
Now it is received. Now it is received.
Now it's
Oh,
come.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh. Okay. So once you do that, please let me know. Okay, this is the website. This is the website. Get into institutional sign-in. And this is the username and password. Maybe upload again in the LMS under the Capstone projects. You have to create a module, and that you can put. So CS06. Okay, everyone has this access, right? Can you also open Google Scholar? Somebody is very, see, at least 10% of the class must do brilliant work. It's always normal distribution, no? So I hope everyone is in that top 10%. You can also check Google Patents. Right? So especially Arshi, please check similar softwares. What is the architecture? If there is a novelty that you bring in, please check, search here. And then another interesting website we say is archive.org. Another thing, if you want to see papers with code, this is mostly on machine learning, but you will definitely get something related to security analytics, papers with code, right? It's easy. Archive actually is one, it's very upcoming repository of journals. So please check archive. Now, in this, we have something called keywords, right? So what is the keyword? How do you search? Which area? You must be thinking about it, no? Because we are discussing about Capstone for some time. What are the broader areas? Broader areas. Capstone broader areas. Maybe look at network security, cloud security.
I wouldn't say because scope of getting the logs will not be enough, or data is not enough.
You are on, no? You are on the screen, on the.
No.
Okay, I think people online are not able to listen to Sandeep. You have, can you get on to the screen so that they will only listen? So he, according to him, because let's also hear what, because he'll be definitely the one of the Viber panelists. So it's easy to get whether what works. You got this link? Okay. Yeah, directly you can go.
Unmute.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will take the scope, not very specific to network security, but then largely areas of assessment is something which organizations look for. I think you're
Where else audio can come?
You want me to speak there?
That will be nice.
I'll disconnect here.
If you
So the broader scope, if I were to look at, I would suggest go to areas around, I would say assessments rather, right? Because if you look at the current cyber security challenges for the industry, it is all trying to understand the risk posture, the threat posture, right? Analysis. These are areas which the organizations are looking at, right? Networks wise, I would say no, because on the networks, it's going to be very difficult to tap into the traffic. If you have an infrastructure, if you have enough data, yes, you can pick up those patterns for your capstones. But otherwise, I think, see, most important for you is solve the industry problem, right? And you should also do it in such a way that the respective data that you need to complete your capstones, that is available as well, right? So either you work with mentors like us and we could provide you that information or insight, right? Or within your current organizations, if you're already aligned to certain areas, right? And you can try solving some of the uh, problems within the industry or within the organization, that is going to be well accepted, right? Second, I would say while you're doing your paper publications, also important that there's some level of uniqueness, right? You can start off with somebody else's paperwork that is good and improvise it, that is fine. But there should be some level of, I would say, uniqueness, right? So go through the papers, I mean, the IEEE papers that you get through, the accesses on your LMS, the links given to you. Go through some of the papers because that becomes your reference, right? But when it comes to cyber on the projects, don't make it very complex that at the end you're rushing around and you're not able to complete things. Take smaller milestones. If you have two projects, I think you should just advance the second project to the from the first project, right? So you don't do two separate projects because in lot, what happens is you may do Viva on the same day, right? So when you're doing two separate presentation, it becomes a little difficult, right? So try to take one topic. If you are doing an MTech, then it should be good technical projects, right? I mean, you should have a good dashboard. You should have some amount of work and research that you put in, right? Research work that you put in. But as MS, you should be conceptually very good. You should be able to convince the panel, right? Your approach. And the second would be technical. I would say don't do both of it as conceptual, but the second project of Capstone 2 should be more technical, right? Coming back to the scope, assessment areas is one area that you should pick up, right? Anything other than that you're doing on the infrastructure or cloud. Cloud is also a good area, right? If you want to pick up cloud, challenges around multi-cloud environment, challenges within one cloud environment, adoption within the organization, right? The risk to move to a cloud ecosystem, okay? Certain certifications that you require for an organization to move. Again, assessment comes here. So there are a lot of approaches on the cloud security, cloud assessment that you can pick in, right? These are some of the areas that you should take, okay? Don't make it too complex. Go through your research work. I mean, go through the IEEE research papers which are already there. Bring in some uniqueness. If you're going technical, spend a lot of time. you should have an environment or align to your mentors to provide you those environments, right? This is what I would suggest you should go about. And there are some good projects in the past that has been done, right? I mean, you have CS1, CS2 projects. You can take those projects and enhance it, right? So that option is also provided, or we're giving them.
So, what that we have, like I said, 22 presentation must be aligned with CS06 batch. All that presentations. Right? Yeah. So, I don't know what's the time now. We have say 5-6 minutes. We'll have some lunch and then come back, because do not waste today's time. At least have some clarity and then let's put a abstract in place, right? So can somebody start with a broader topic? I'll just show you how you can do it, right? So, and don't get intimidated. It's possible. So many master's program students have done, right, in the world with the thesis written. So where do we start? Anyone wants to start and work along with me in this process? It's okay. It could be. We'll start with your CTI automation.
First, ma'am.
Okay.
Because this is a pain and the challenge for the cybersecurity and the RESO as well. So when any website or any URL is getting launched onto the internet, the user needs access. And the challenge here is like the cloud proxies or the vendor, the security provider, they are not able to identify the URL categorization is done in the proper way or not. So the reason for choosing this security automation tool is just to, in a fraction of a second, to call the APIs to the different vendors and pull up the information. Is that URL is categorized or not, or is that the URL is redirecting somewhere to some different origin? Or basically these kind of information. So if these kind of informations we are getting in the security automation tool, so it is good. From our side, we can give the clarity, yes, this website is okay, genuine. You can grant the access.
I think CTI in the sense that you will create a vendor's API automation to check them that this is secured.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is secured. And what kind of scope is that you're looking at? Do you have all the? I think this looks
So
fine.
you have many sources, right? You can take the APIs from VirusTotal, McAfee.
Yes.
These are, I mean, very different APIs. This is industry standard. Most of the platforms use these APIs.
Yeah,
And
true.
you will get a lot of documentation from them.
I mean, not with the VirusTotal, but other also like IP lookup, domain, external
So
domain
you
provider.
will.
So IP lookup
Yes.
also, you have good APIs available.
Yeah, that's true.
Rajiv, you can try for Cisco.
Just want to look up for an IP and understand the reputation of that IP. IP lookup.
So is it only
Yes.
IP reputation you are scoping? Only IP reputation?
IP
Yes.
URL is that, right?
IP, URL. I mean, lot of things are there inside that.
No, I know, but I'm just asking that if you have to scope first year, how many, and what is the?
Well, basically, ma'am, I'm planning for the two projects. One is advanced IDS using ML, and the second project for the CTI automation.
So I think you just deviated.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
First you did advanced detection using ML, right?
Yeah.
You just deviated.
What, I mean,
No.
What
I
kind of
just get the
detection?
two projects.
Huh?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, define again. Come back and define both the projects. We are audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
My idea was related
Okay.
to supply build
So,
chain.
I'm audible, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, you are audible.
I think,
Hello.
I can't hear anyone back.
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Can you hear?
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Sudarshan, you are audible to us.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am,
Okay.
my
So,
area was related to supply build chain, ma'am. So in order to ensure the integrity on that side, with the SDLC life cycle, so how do we ensure the security practices and how to implement the recent terms of having this reproducible builds over there to ensure the integrity on the supply build chain, ma'am. So I had a discussion with Sandeep sir also during last bootcamp meeting. You have 5 minutes, ma'am. Can I share the proposal idea with you?
I think I have already. So, just a second.
DHARM, DHARSM,
First, TH.
D for Delhi.
This one, right? So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
can see my screen, no?
Yes, ma'am. So
So
this
you
idea,
discussed already. Okay.
yeah. So this idea was to have a solution for the current threats what we are facing with the supply build chain. And since I am from the development background, I am quite sure about the process what it is happening on the SDLC life cycle. So I just want to provide a real-time solution for that problem which is happening with this DevOps segment. So this proposal would be a part of set DevOps, but the ultimate aim is to ensure that how are we gonna make the supply chain process in a secured manner. Even though we have several cloud security tools are in place, still the market is having some challenges in addressing some internal security issues. So keeping that as the headline, I just had this proposal. So it's not about only about the scanning of the tools with the GitHub code what we had, but also we have several other ideas have been proposed, like reproducible builds and things are there. So with that, I just thought of giving one end-to-end framework solution for this problem. So moreover, the example was like in recent time we had the solar wind attack that has happened, which was between US and Russia. So in that, the malicious attack have been code has been injected on the real-time plant. So in such cases, how do we avoid how do you avoid such situations, and how do we ensure the build version code to validate like whether the same set of code has been deployed to the production site without any changes. So the idea would be like I've not built any diagram right now. I've just had an idea as a thought process. So we can create two different type of infrastructure development, and we can use reproducible build as a part of that to get them scanned. And then once the set of values have been generated as a final code, we can add hashing to that and ensure the secured part. So after that, we can have a comparison running between the two final generated code, for example, a jar file, and then we can be deployed to the final production site. So that is the ultimate idea on this one.
Can you explain a little more in this reproducible builds? How do you what is the content of it? How do you build it?
Yeah, reproducible builds have been proposed by Google, and they just brought it as a set of software development framework that they have been implemented on place. So this has got a several set of tools which just validate this kind of build validations in the CI/CD pipelines. So for example, when we say a pipeline has been built through using Jenkins, and there are like several other build configurations have been set. For example, like a test one environment, stage one environment, and production one environment. So in our day-to-day activity, we are pushing several set of releases. For example, version 1 has to be pushed from say from test to build version to stage, and then stage to production. So in those cases, the vulnerability that we can see in our day-to-day activity is like some sort of insights, or the code malicious code can be injected during this build operation. So in those cases, we can use this reproducible builds as a part of a framework and the tools to ensure that when we build such a code, we just ensure that it just compares and ensures us that the generated code and the producer and the producible code both are in sync and both are equal. So once that validation has been completed, we are deploying the code to production set. So till that validations and the checklist has been completed, we are not going to push the set of code to our production set. So does that? So this is all about, and just I'm giving you an overview. So this reproducible build, they made it as a free open source code that are available. And this set of library and tools which Google has been shared, right? They are just very frequently they are just updating that. So this can be consumed directly by DevOps and even from the developer side.
So Google, you are going to use the Google's reproducible builds, huh? How are you going to? How are you going to build? We understand somewhat the problem statement, but how? What is that I should see? So this is important for us to know what is available. Because if you maybe take some of the codes which is existing and then bring it, they may say that, okay, this is already there.
What is the approach in between?
So can you tell me the right keywords here? Where do I get that Google reproducible builds? It's available here.
Let me share you the link.
Okay. Because typical plagiarism softwares will crawl through all these.
So this things has got a several set of tools that are available. So based on the infrastructure that we are going to build it, we can just specify the required tools, and these tools can be used for setting up those the framework. So for example, like if I'm going to use Jenkins as a build pipeline, I'm going to build only a Java related set of code, and it's a very small and it's a very simple infrastructure that I'm building on DevOps. So for those things, what are the checklists and guidelines should I take for that? So that is the idea. So just to replicate the similar set of setup what we have in the real time, and then on top of that, we are gonna ensure the integrity on this build pipeline. So that is the idea.
Okay. So what we would look at from an academic perspective and what industry would, or the panel would look at no, from their perspective. So if you are saying that solution to ensure integrity of the supply chain build, this project name still needs some kind of a fine tuning. It's not very clear, right? Solution. So it's a very generic word that you have used. So this from here onwards, Dr. Rashmi will definitely connect with you and then fine tune. Now so there are two things. One is integrity of the supply chain. So on the reproducible build again, are you checking the integrity? So there is some kind of, now under background information, you must clearly indicate that why you have chosen, why this project, why this why this topic, why it is important. All that you must say. Current DevOps, I'm just reading your sentence. Current DevOps is facing more challenges with respective to security issues, even though with the rapid development of scanning tools, still attacks in supply chain keeps increasing day by day due to usage of vulnerable libraries. So ideally, you must bring in some industry statistics, right? What is the, can you quantify these vulnerable attacks because of these vulnerable libraries of the software builds? So this background information need to have some kind of a reference. You can't just write a one line sentence without referencing. That's why referencing citation is important, because this project is not yours. You already got enough information from the internet. But when you are writing it, you must tell that where you got it. Can you quantify this problem? Because I am not the expert, but by reading it, I should know that, okay, a great problem to solve. But from this, I am not understanding how big, how large, how crucial, how critical, how, why this. So that information must be very clearly articulated. Hope, am I clear? Am I clear? Okay. So some industry statistics about how often these attacks are happening on the reproducible build. Okay. Now, in order to stop malicious code injecting the build pipeline and to ensure integrity of the supply chain is not being, so there is some English problem there. Sorry, I mean, I'm not telling Sudarshan, but in terms of, I'm just trying to understand. For example, in early 2020, cyber attack on SolarWinds is recent massive supply chain attack. This ideally should have come as a storytelling that because of the recent massive supply chain attack on SolarWinds, how big, what was the impact globally because of this, right? That's a great start, storytelling on background information. So build this one, ideally you must, for example, and all that is not a great way of start. But this particular trigger is the reason that I thought I will get onto this, right? So writing style, because technical writing, as you grow higher and higher, I will tell you that you will do less coding, but more of people management, more writing, more proposals, more, all that is what finally a master student should do, right? So you should know how to write with a top down approach. So you are presenting a large problem with verification with data, and then slowly narrowing down to very specific to this area. So now I'll take this single thing in order to, I think don't start a problem statement with in order and all that. These are not the right. So say to build or so I'm, because there's already a supply chain build there, so don't repeat the words, but to build a secured solution using so and so, right? That is the better way of putting the statement of the problem. This is not clear. In order to stop malicious code injecting the build pipeline and to ensure integrity of the supply chain is not being compromised. So this sentence is not problem statement. I hope, see, more you, sometimes what I do, I'm just telling my way of, sometimes I put a, where is it? Under review, you can actually read aloud. Read aloud and see whether it makes sense to me. Did it make sense to me? No, right? Okay, so be your own biggest self-critic before sending to someone. Does it make sense? Okay. Now this whole problem statement is not clear, which need to be. So you are building integrity, according to me, in a supply chain build. Integrity. So not sure how are you building this integrity? How? What? Right? So that statement is not clear. Now, initially creating two parallel infrastructures using simple thing like, say, for example, if you're writing words like this, it should be actually two, TWO. I'm just telling some English lessons. Okay, because it's English, right? You only build a digit. Okay, so initially creating two parallel infrastructures using reproducible builds and to ensure security hashing can be added to the, so please see, I'm becoming breathless because you have added and keep on adding but the first part of the sentence and the next part of the and is not connected. And most of the time the clarity, the panel is looking at clarity. I am looking at clarity. Without Sudarshan explaining, this document must go to the whole world and they would say, okay, I understood. Without you, it's like your resume. Is your resume representing you? Without you, otherwise it will go to the what is that, waste bin. So it is initially creating two parallel, what is that parallel infrastructure? You have not even discussed. So yeah, that means you are telling that, okay, there is one already a build, and then you are building another secured one, and then you are comparing these two. Comparison is made on the final output to verify two builds generate some same set of output. Scenario of differences can be alerted before. Okay, most of the time I'm just taking one sample, and it doesn't mean that everyone, no, so please don't take it in person. Scenario of differences can be alerted before final deployment to live environment. Is it clear? Without Sudarshan, explaining, is it clear? No. So, and then, so here itself, I kind of lost the track. Now detailed scope is again confusion, right? So how do you narrow down a good topic? For that, you have to read at least 10 good resources. What are the right resources? That is actually called a current work, literature review, references, all that. Because you read, now you without reading you can't write. You can't say I've been working in this industry for so many years and I know. Then it's great. Then show us, tell us how, right? So if you look at kind of any papers, I'm just taking because I'm still not getting the right keywords to search. If I say reproducible bills, I am not getting other than the Google one. So I think there must be some more the better keywords where I can get the right papers or right white papers. So I'm just looking here, understanding the increase in supply chain security. So this is this if I am taking and if I'm searching this because for me also I'm just doing along with it. Supply chain security attacks. Okay, this may not work well, but let me see. They may take. Somewhere we have to write reproducible bills. This is where I am little. Somebody can help me here, it will be good. Right? Pardon? Reproducible build. Building a secure GNU. Okay, only one paper has come. So you may have to go and read. At least you must get because what? Please not only writing the references from a website is not enough. This is called journal articles. Why? Because it has been peer reviewed and understood. Somebody has accepted this as the best practice. Somebody has done. Now reading a paper is very difficult task. I know it's not easy. But the moment you are obsessed with your topic, then you will read up more about it. You have to be obsessed. Without that, you can't just run a very shoddy show, right? So suppose supply chain attacks show why you should be wary of third-party providers. Fortinet resources, cyber glossary, cyber. Okay, so these are all cannot be considered as references. Even to write this one pager, we would have to identify 10 papers in that area and then read how they have given a solution. Master's level, this is an expectation, irrespective of which country you are in. Whole world will ask you to do this. So it's not like we are keeping some high benchmark or anything. That's the need. So how do you now bring in? So I'm still looking at how do I. So I'll remove this reproducible bills, and if I check here, I have how many 50 plus pages are there. I can do the same thing here and then see understanding. Okay, supply chain security attacks. I can get some papers here. That's why keyword is so important. If you ask the wrong question, Google or any search repository will give you wrong answers, right? Then your path will go somewhere. You told which one is the attack you mentioned, that cyber? Okay, let me. Pardon?
Solar wind attack.
Solar wind attack. Yeah, I think there must be some study on that. So let me check. Supply chain attacks. Please, others also. Yeah, see, look at this. SolarWinds hand hack in-depth analysis and countermeasures. Immediately, this paper must be taken as your reference. PDF. PDF is there. Sign in. Get the PDF. Have you read this? When is this date? Let me check. Check. What is the date here? IEEE 21. Yeah. So after the attack only they have written this paper. Very clearly, right? What is the, can you see the title? It becomes completely narrowed down, right? SolarWinds hack, in-depth analysis and countermeasures. This is a proposal. I don't think they have solved anything. They are just analyzing and then they are giving some suggestions. right? So today technology plays a vital role in the development and all that. SolarWinds is a well-known IT company. What is cyber attack? And attack on SolarWinds was a supply chain attack. FireEye specialized in detection. So beautifully explained, right? I'm going to share this, Sudarshan. Sudarshan, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so you have a paper now. See the flow? Okay, now following the attack, related works. So how have they written? What kind of, say, what is that? How they have divided this related works? There are some agencies on frameworks, supply chain attacks. What kind of attacks are there? What kind of countermeasures are there? And how to avoid a supply chain attack. Okay, this is more of a, as I mentioned, there is no empirical evidence here. There is no real-time data collection. How did it? Who are the attackers? What kind of timeline? What is the cost of fixing the compromised data, right? And then cost of compromised data, all that is written here. So it's just, again, there is no lab here. There is no lab here. This is also kind of allowed in Capstone 1. You understand something very deep, right? Now, what do I do further? Because you want to build again some reproducible builds. What do? I go to the reference here and see how supply chain works. Supply chain attacks, what are they and how to beat them, right? There are so many papers around this. So you got at least 3, 4, 5 papers, good papers from here only. If you read that 10 papers, your language will change. How would you talk to the panel will change. Otherwise, each sentence Sudarshan says or somebody says, there will be 10 counter questions. What is it? What is it? What is it? Nobody understood. You are also frustrated. We are also frustrated. So make sense?
Yeah, ma'am. Got it.
Okay. So take a small break. Please come back. We will spend another 1 hour on finalizing your topic. Just topic. But that topic has to be a little well defined. For that, you have to read. Abstract, huh? Okay. Okay, I think we have to respond to this. Somehow that response is not happening. Network intrusion detection system using WOPA. This is such a this is too vast a topic, too big topic. What machine learning? Why intrusion detection system? Hey, it's a good area to be in. Are you on this now? Are you changing? Okay, okay.
Basically, initially I thought to keep the two projects, intrusion detection, and the second Capstone project would be for the
But I am hoping that because Pradeepta already would have done at least a few use cases here. This is a very, 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 very common topic. That is the only challenge we have. Then what are you improving this? Right? So many network intrusion detection papers you can see. Because this is the first set of models that any machine learning in cybersecurity would build. So what we'll do is we'll kind of come back. I'm not telling. We will narrow down and design the scope. So I think it's, yeah. So you have internet firewall network intrusion detection system. So what is this? How did you build this? This is okay. This is a flow. What is that you will build here is the question. Okay. So we'll take a small break and come back. Those who are in the campus, lunch is there. Those who are online, please come back. Huh? 2:30. Okay. 2:30 we'll be back. Okay. Don't go anywhere. It's like Amitabh Bachchan says. Okay. Okay. Bye bye.